feel like one thing a lot of non-Christians or people who are looking into Christianity and following Jesus are worried about or it turns them off is that they lose their personality, their interests, their hobbies, their way of life, I guess you could say. So, as a Christian, I just wanted to, I accepted Christ when I was 7. So, I've been a Christian my whole life. And before that, you're so little. Like, I loved God and Jesus and everything, but I just didn't accept him into my heart yet because I was so little. Um, but anyway, um, as I've grown closer to God, or even when I'm drifting away, come back, whatever, um, you don't lose your personality. You don't lose your hobbies, who you are, your personality, that personality. You lose the desire to sin more. Like if you struggle with lust, you desire less lust, less lust. That's hard to say. If you cheat, or if you're off people, or if you, whatever your sin or sins that you struggle with, we all have multiple, right? You desire to do those less because you're following Jesus and you're wanting to be more like him. Um, so that's not really a downside. That's actually an upside. The only downside to Christianity is, well, of course, you don't get to live in the flesh, you live in the spirit. So it's like an up and down because you're fighting it, but it also feels better. And then also, the judgment, going against the grain of the world, expectations, whatever you want to call it. It's a little bit harder because you don't fit in as much, whatever, but it's worth it. Eternity, right? As far as I don't know, like to explain it to people, but you don't lose anything about you except you're fighting your fleshly desires to sin. You feel better as a person, you grow. And honestly, it kind of makes life, I don't know how to describe it, but to fight and go through hard times and, change your sinful ways and try and turn from them as best as you can. We all mess up. Honestly, makes life part of life. Like, part of life is we're in a fallen world, so we're gonna have people that hurt us. We're gonna hurt people. People are gonna pass away. We're gonna lose friends. Like, life is just life. So, you know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have hard times, and um, you might as well try and grow as a person. Come to Jesus and save your soul, of course. So I don't know, just something I've been thinking about that. Um, I just wonder if there's people out there who either aren't interested in Jesus or are, and they are worried that they're going to lose their personality, lose their interest. Like I said, the only thing you're going to lose interest in is sin. And who feels good at the end of the day from sinning? Short term, yes. Long term, no. And then if you fight it, go with your spirit, it's hard, but it feels even better in the moment. And then long term, it feels good as well. So, plus, I remember, I don't know if I've said this in videos I've posted. If I'm wrong and Jesus is not real and we die and we just go in the dirt, right? And that's it. I at least lived a life of good values, good morals, did good, and had a great message and the gospel that I spread, right? Of Jesus Christ. And then I didn't waste an eternity because there's no eternity, right? If I'm right, then I have an eternity in heaven and I get to spend eternity with my family, my friends, with God, with creation, right? If you're right, then you lived life in sin. You didn't have morals or values or anything like that. And yeah, you followed the way of the world. I'm not saying you were an awful person then, but you didn't have, you know what I'm saying. But if you're wrong, then unfortunately you will spend an eternity separated from God. You will have no hope, no joy, no, nothing good, nothing even neutral. You'll just have an eternity of horrible, horrible suffering. So to me, even when you think of it like that, and you also think, look around, how could there not be a God? When you look at creation, when you look at the design, it's just astronomical, even if you just look at the human body, let alone the planet and the universe and everything in the planet. Like, it's just incredible. So there has to be a God, right? I mean, if you reject that, then what? We just came from a big boom and it all came into existence and then we all just poof out of existence. Then there's no meaning in life. Like, if there's no God, there's no eternity with him. There's no point to life. What is the point of life? Why would you want to live? Why wouldn't you just jump off a cliff? Because what's the point? So I think all of these kind of trail a little off on the subject of like your personality and stuff, people worrying if you could lose that, following Jesus. But I just also thought about that. Like, I'm not hating on anyone who's atheist or maybe believes in God, but they don't follow Jesus, like, or they're Buddhist or whatever. Like, you live your life. I can't force you, of course. But these are just things I think through about why Jesus is worth following. Also, there's plenty of evidence that Jesus is real. He was who he says he was, meaning that heaven and hell are real. So most people don't get proof in this life, but there's enough evidence. Like, I know I'm going to heaven. I'm 100% sure. I don't deserve it. Nobody does, but because of Jesus' sacrifice, the whole thing, right? The other thing is just look into the fact that Jesus has over 20,000 manuscripts, recordings of his life. People who were um, secular writers, authors, of the time even said, like, meaning they denied Jesus as God, but they said he was who he says he was. He really did die on the cross. These are people who lived 20 to 50 years past him. So they were like young, I guess, when it happened and lived into older age. Um, and as far as the Bible goes, yes, there's proof beyond proof, evidence, whatever you want. I guess not proof. Yes, proof, evidence, whatever you want to call it, of things that have been found, things that have happened that were prophesied in the Bible. And if you look at the Bible, to those who are like, it's boring, blah, 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 read it. I dare you, read it. How are you going to be bored? Like, I haven't read the whole Bible. I need to open my Bible more. I kind of want to get into Job. Maybe I do that after I record this video. But read the Bible. It's not boring. Like, as far as Job goes, one thing I can remember, Job, something with Satan and God. I don't remember why, but he challenged God and said, if you let me attack Job, then he would never keep following you. And for whatever reason, God said, okay, but only what I allow. And there was a tornado that went through his whole house, killed his kids, literally his entire family, and I think he had 2 friends left, just a couple. His wife was left, everyone else gone, his house was gone, all his livestock, everything. He was the richest person on the planet in the east side of the world. So he was in the top 4. I don't know if he was 1, 2, 3, or 4, but he was in the top 4 richest people on the planet. So, right, he's rich. All of a sudden it's gone. His whole family, but his wife gone. Siblings, kids, parents, if he had grandparents alive, great-grand, whatever. A lot of his friends, just horrible, horrible, right? Yet he tore his clothes, like he just ripped all his clothes off. He pulled his hair out. He was grieving. If that happened to me, I'm not married, but let's just say I am, and all of a sudden, all my grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, my brother, my great aunts, great uncles, like if they all just died, my entire house died, every penny that I have in the bank just taken, I would most definitely, I don't know if I'd go in the yard and like yank grass out of the yard because I was mourning, and I probably would try and rip my hair and clothes off too. Like, maybe not clothes because I'm modest. I don't want to show my body. I don't even like doing that at the pool. Why can't we wear a swim shirt? I don't like showing that. But anyway, it's not boring is the whole point. So this is the video of things I've been thinking about regarding my faith.